All right, so sticking with our theme here of blowing some stuff up, I'm going to talk about a bug we found that seems to affect a lot of people using the endpoint security framework. There was some research late 2025 on Windows for a technique. I think Pisces Security put it out called EDR freeze. Whew, let me get up. So we're going to talk about this quickly, and there's sort of the Mac OS version of it. Uh, since everybody here seems to be on the Mac admin Slack, hi, I'm PLM. I'm the guy who spams you periodically with, hey, this is what we released in Santa this month. So good to see you all in person. Longtime Santa contributor, CEO of North Pole Security. Well, let's just jump into it. So, how many of you are familiar with endpoint security and how it actually works under the hood? All right, a little bit. We got half the room here. Good. All right. In a really simplified way to look at it, when you subscribe as an endpoint security client, you connect to the text, processes do things, behaviors are monitored, you get called back, and now you have to make a decision. You have to say we allow it or we deny it. Pretty trivial. Except the thing is, if you're doing it for authorized things, you can lock up the system. So there's a timeout. And if you don't respond within that timeout, the system has to let you, they have to let whatever through, right? So you will get killed. One of the most difficult things to do when you're building an endpoint security product, especially one built on the endpoint security framework, library. Apple gets mad when I say framework because it is not a framework. You're welcome, Chris. Effectively, right here, you're going to do a ton of crazy timing, a ton of other stuff. This is the most complicated thing. And if you try to defend yourself, it can be a problem. And so, again, the one point I want to leave everybody with, if you take nothing away from this 5-minute talk where I'm racing like the Micro Machines man, if it cannot respond in time, it is allowed. So, fun game. How can we make the endpoint security client not respond in time? Now, Mac OS is Unix-like, so signals are the thing. And if you're not defending yourself, against kill-9, cool, you're not going to respond. Things are going to be allowed. But we can also think about freezing the process. There's other ways to go about this. So if you, again, anytime you can get it to miss the deadline, the action is going to be allowed. So what's the simplest thing we could do? We can just ask. Right? Back in Snow Leopard, way back, right? When I was just a junior security researcher, they added these syscalls in, and you can just go in and ask the OS to freeze the process. And this will all happen at the layer below the BSD, layer on top of Mac. So you can just freeze it and cause it to stop. So if you have anything that's authorizing actions on Mac OS, doing other stuff, you'll freeze it. Nothing will be able to make forward progress. Boom, you'll get killed. Whatever's pending gets allowed. Right? And again, just ask. Simplest attack. And this all works again because everything happens at the mock layer. Mock is happening right below BSD. Everything's down here, right? If you look at this, we use PID suspend to do our Touch ID stuff and other trickery in Santa. And the reason we do this is because other things will, wait syscalls and other stuff will be sitting there, and they'll get notified if you use a signal. So if you do sig stop, other stuff, PID suspend, nice clean layer below, everything works, right? And so again, in the spirit of full disclosure, here's my one-line exploit in which I call a system call aimed at a target PID. It works. There's a gist here if you want to test your own stuff. And here's a demo. So I'll actually show you. This is from Santa 2025-11. So Santa's currently PID 2499. And I'm going to run something that we have rules blocking. So in this case, TCSH. So Santa says, nope, you have rules, can't do this. Now I'm going to freeze it. So I'm going to run my little PID control and suspend it. So I'm freezing Santa's process, 2499. Now I'm going to try to run TCSH again. All right, now we're just waiting for the timeout. So, and the other thing to know about timeouts, they're variable. If they're critical system binaries, you have 3.5 seconds. And Apple always says they're going to make it faster. Normal processes, you have 15 seconds. But here, as you can see, I can run the shell now that I wasn't allowed to run previously. So what do we do about this? Well, first we figure out how to click through this. So, you know. So the endpoint security framework actually has an event for this already. Almost nobody seems to be subscribing to it. This seems to be affecting commercial tools. It also seems to be affecting almost everybody in open source. If you subscribe to this particular event, you can actually deny it as long as you pick the target for yourself. This is part of why we did this. It's also why we put out a blog post for all this stuff. We fixed this in Santa 2025.12, and we realized this was a thing, so we actually extended Santa to be able to protect other tools. So you can actually, if you put the signing ID, the team ID prefix, and the signing ID underneath it, you can block this for other applications as well. So that's it. That's all I've got. Thank you.